What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube and Rumble subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's Kush back at it again. This time with kind of a breaking news type video. As of 12 p.m. on January 21st, 2022, the Giants have hired their new general manager. It is Joe Schoen from the Buffalo Bills. And before I get into anything else, I gotta say, this is why you watch my podcast. 2 nights ago on the Young Guns podcast, there was a leak from ESPN brought to our attention by Twitter. That leak was on the Giants transaction page of the ESPN website. It said that as of January 7th, which, yes, we recognize is completely early, that the Giants hired Joe Schoen from the Buffalo Bills as their new general manager. Everybody's saying, oh, it's fake. I was like, I don't know if you could consider this fake news because it's from a reputable site like ESPN. They're one of the biggest, sports networks out there, if not the biggest sports network out there. And 2, the one that was more plausible reaction where people were saying, oh, this is probably just some mistake, which I would be inclined to agree with. But I'm going to link right now in this video that you guys are watching, the link to that full podcast episode and to a clip where I kind of just gathered all the facts regarding that ESPN website, where I did a little bit of, I guess you could call it, investigating work using the Wayback Machine, which is a website from the Internet Archive that allows you to view any website, how they work, in the past. So when I went to the Wayback Machine and I gave them the Giants transaction page, I went and viewed what the page looked like on January 10th. And the Joe Schoen transaction was not listed there, which suggests that this is a recent development on that site, which just kind of built a little bit more to it being a bit more true, I guess you could say. And either way, you could toss all that out the window if you want to or not. But he is now officially the general manager of the Giants. He was a favorite for a while. And listen, I'm happy. I'm very, very happy with this decision. My favorite guy, Joe Hordes from the Ravens. They didn't give him a second interview, but we learned later on. And this is where your interviewing skills comes key. Just learning how to sell yourself, sell your product. We learned that Joe Hordes, he hasn't had an interview in like 23 years or something like that. And so he didn't necessarily bomb the first interview with the Giants. He just had a lot of rust. And you know what? I can respect that from the Giants organization. If they say we had a better time understanding and a better time buying into what Joe Schoen was talking about. One of the guys they gave a second interview, what Adam Peters were talking about from the 49ers, the other assistant GM they gave the interview for, and even Ryan Poles, guys from the Chiefs, the third guy they give the assistant interview to. And I'll just say this real quick, respect to all the candidates that we interviewed, and once again, props to the Giants. And can't believe I'm saying this because I haven't said this at all in the past 4 or 5 years, to John Mara and Steve Tisch, because they conducted a really good, really thorough general manager search, and it really makes the one that we did in 2017, 2018, it makes that one look like amateur. It makes it look so bad, just trash, because we only had 3 candidates in 2017, and that one I think was just a couple days long, not even 2 weeks long like this one was, and everybody was just kind of in some way, shape, or form connected to the Giants. We've been begging for years, go get somebody not connected to the Giants. All 9 candidates that they had for this GM search was from outside of the organization. So I don't know if that suggests they hear what the fans are saying, or if that suggests they're recognizing the mistakes they've been making in the past. I hope that is the latter, because sometimes fans are wrong. Like, fans shouldn't have control of the team. But if they're recognizing their mistakes, then we have a good path going forward. And Joe Schoen from the Bills, I already gave his breakdown in a couple videos. For those of you that don't know, I'll do it again real quick. He was the assistant general manager for Buffalo since the 2017-2018 offseason, which lines up with when Buffalo started their rebuild and started to become a winning team. Let's not forget, for a good, I want to say 15 semi-odd years, the Bills were not the best team. They were mediocre to bad. They were one of the whipping boys of the AFC East, along with the Dolphins and the Jets. The Jets had a couple playoff years in there, but we know how the AFC East was just a couple years ago. We all remember it. That was when Tom Brady and the Patriots ruled supreme. Now the Bills, they own the Patriots. We saw last week, they made Bill Belichick look like he was not the greatest coach of all time. Blew him out like 40-something to 20-something. It was ridiculous. It got people on Twitter saying Bill Belichick should retire. That's how good the Bills have become, and he has a hand in that. We know that their general manager is Brandon Beane, And, you know, props to Brandon Beane, props to Scott McDermott, the Bills head coach. They've done a great job building and coaching up the players over there, the foundation, and the team that it's become. But we've also heard Brandon Beane himself. I put up a quote from 2 years ago in my first video talking about Joe Schoen. He himself said he's a guy that listens. He's a guy that knows how to communicate with players, great talent evaluator, just somebody that's good to have in the front office. And he said in 2019, give him a couple years, he's going to be a GM. It's been a couple years, and now he is indeed a GM, going from one New York team to the other. You could argue the true New York team, the only one that plays in the state, to the one in New Jersey. But I really do like this hire, and part of that is because obviously now that the general manager search is over, we're now headed into the head coaching search. And going back to what I was saying with the owners finally hiring somebody from outside, I hope the next true step after that is that they allow this man to do his job, right? At the end of the day, if John Mara is going to continue to step in and he's going to continue to make personnel decisions and staffing decisions, then we're going to have a good general manager that's not doing a good general manager job. We're going to have another bust of a situation. So if they allow Schoen to do his job, I'm going to trust with whatever he does, right? And we're going to see how it plays out. If he goes out there and he hires some head coach that was never a head coach before, all right, fine. It's a chance I'm going to have to take. And you know what? Honestly, there are good candidates out there. Of course, the most popular candidate for the Giants head coaching job right now is Brian Daboll. And who is Brian Daboll? Another Bills person, the offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills, Brian Daboll, who's made Buffalo one of the best offenses in the past 2 to 3 years over there with Josh Allen, who's helped Josh Allen develop from a kid from Wyoming that nobody heard about to probably, I'd say, a top 3 quarterback in the league right now. And at least in the playoffs, he looked like one of the best, if not the best. I'll be honest with you. There was times in the playoffs that Josh Allen looked better than Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. That's work of Brian Daboll right there. And whether or not we keep Daniel Jones, I don't care who the quarterback is moving forward. I believe if Brian Daboll is the head coach, he can make that work. Even if we go and we draft that kid out of Liberty, Malik Willis, that's just the power, I guess you could say, or the work of Brian Daboll. And of course, he's from the Bills. He's the most popular candidate for Giants head coaching job. And now that Joe Schoen is here, or Joe Schoen, however you pronounce it, there's a lot of rumors that you could take with a grain of salt, obviously. A lot of rumors / reports saying that if Joe Schoen was hired, his first guy as head coach is going to be Brian Daboll. So first guy we should look out for is also from the Buffalo Bills. Another guy that's been connected to Schoen, a guy that I like a lot for the Giants head coaching job, the former Dolphins head coach, Brian Flores. I just talked about how the Bills went from a whipping boy to a formidable foe in the AFC East. Similar story for Brian Flores' Dolphins. I know his time didn't end in the best way possible, but that's usually how head coaches lose their jobs. They don't end off on a good note. He did the same thing for the Dolphins. They also owned the Patriots under Brian Daboll's time there, where anytime New England came down to Miami almost always came out with the win. And that was a team that went from definitely being like a perennial loser to being somebody that could compete. And we'll see if Brian Daboll is the head coach, man. I just think he needs a good offensive coordinator, and we're good to go. I'm sorry, I said Brian Daboll. I meant Brian Flores. It's 2 Brians. Man, that's going to get a bit confusing moving forward. But guys, let me know what you think. Put your thoughts down below and all that. I know for sure those 2 head coaches are connected to Joe Schoen. I'm not sure if anybody else is. We're going to see a lot more names going forward now that the head coaching search is going to be underway. I'm going to assume they're going to start on Monday. I've never seen them start one of these searches over the weekend, and it is the weekend now. But if they do, hey, more power to them. We'll see how it goes. But that's it for now. Put your thoughts down below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'm out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll catch y'all in the next one.